Usually when we talk about a sporting contest, there's this expectation of a predictable, almost comforting rhythm to it.
Right, yeah, like a familiar script.
Exactly. You look at the playing surface, you look at the target, and the math just makes sense.
I mean, you need 118 runs to win. It's right there on the board.
Yeah, and you're playing on this pristine batting pitch, right? One that really favors the hitters. The equation should be incredibly straightforward.
Right. It's a simple calculation. You have the personnel, you execute the game plan, you pace yourself.
Just normal cricket stuff.
Exactly. And barring a total disaster, probability dictates you just cross the finish line without much fuss.
But then, you add in the context of a high-stakes must-win tournament scenario.
Yeah.
And suddenly that simple math is just completely broken.
Oh, totally shattered.
Like 2 plus 2 suddenly equals panic. And that's what we're looking at today in this deep dive.
Yeah, it really is.
We're looking at a match today that is, honestly, it's a psychological thriller masquerading as a game of cricket.
That's a great way to put it.
So picture the scene for a second. Overcast conditions.
Heavy air.
Yeah, heavy air at the legendary Lord's Cricket Ground. I mean, this isn't just any venue. It's arguably the most famous location in the sport.
Absolutely. The history there is just palpable.
And remarkably, it's the very first international appearance for both South Africa and Bangladesh at this historic ground.
Which is huge. In that context, it alters the physical and mental landscape of the players completely.
Because South Africa has to win, right?
They do. If they lose, they are eliminated from semifinal contention entirely. Done.
Oh, wow. So everything is on the line.
Exactly. And that kind of pressure, it doesn't just sit in the back of your mind. It actively changes how your hands grip the bat.
It makes you physically tense up.
Yeah. It shortens your breathing. It slows your reaction time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because how exactly does a relatively modest target of 118 turn into a nail-biting, down-to-the-wire test of absolute nerves?
It's a great question.
Like, on an excellent batting pitch, this should have been a walk in the park.
Well, because the game is no longer just about bat and ball at that point.
Right.
It becomes a fascinating case study in how the sheer pressure of a must-win situation acts as a toxin, really, to a team's execution.
A toxin, yeah. It just poisons the whole game plan.
Exactly. You aren't just playing the opposition anymore. You are playing the occasion, the history of the venue, and, well, the suffocating expectations weighing on your own shoulders.
And that sounds exhausting. So let's start with Bangladesh's innings. Because to really understand why South Africa's chase became so torturous at the end, we have to look at the psychological trap that Bangladesh ended up setting.
Right, the setup.
Yeah. Under those overcast skies, South Africa came out and delivered an absolute masterclass in suffocation.
They really did. And it's crucial to understand how a team establishes dominance early in a match.
Right.
It's not just about taking wickets. It's about systematically removing the oxygen from the game.
Making them feel like they literally can't breathe.
Yeah, making the opponent feel like there's just no safe way to score.
And South Africa's Marizanne Kapp, she did exactly that on the very first delivery of the entire match.
What a start.
Literally ball one. She steams in, pushes a fuller ball through. Waria Firdaus takes a swing, misses entirely, and her off scump just clatters out of the ground.
Just devastating.
Right. And for anyone unfamiliar, that's not just a standard out. Seeing your team's literal foundation violently knocked out of the ground on delivery number one.
It's a visceral shock.
Exactly. It's deeply unsettling. Plus, there's some serious historical weight here, right?
Oh, definitely.
Kapp is returning to the scene of a spectacular performance she had back in 2021.
Yeah, the 100 final.
Right, the first ever 100 final, where she took 4 wickets for just 9 runs.
Precisely. Some athletes just find, like, a neurological rhythm at certain venues, and Kapp was utterly relentless today.
She really was.
Look at her final figures for this match. She took 1 wicket while giving up only 9 runs across her 4 overs.
That's insane.
It is. That's an economy rate of 2.25 runs per over. In modern, fast-paced T20 cricket, achieving numbers like that is the equivalent of tying the batter's shoelaces together.
It just freezes them completely.
Totally freezes them.
And it wasn't even a solo act. Kapp gives up just 2 runs in her 3rd over. Then her teammate, Shabnam Ismail, comes in and aggressively backs up that pressure.
Yeah, that partnership was brutal.
Ismail bowls a maiden over, meaning she bowled 6 consecutive deliveries and allowed 0 runs.
0. Nothing.
And during that over, she takes out Taj Nihar. Now, Nihar had a truly agonizing time out there.
You really struggled.
Yeah, really laborious innings, scoring just 1 run off 12 balls. And her struggle ended with the dramatic video review, the DRS.
And you know, that delivery from Ismail is technically brilliant, too.
Oh, it really was. The ball jagged back in from just behind a length.
Right, which means it hit the pitch at an awkward distance.
Yeah, the kind that forces the batter to hesitate.
Exactly. And then it sharply changed direction, hit Nigar right on the front pad.
The umpire gave it out. Nigar challenged it by sending it upstairs to the video review system. But, I mean, the ball tracking technology confirmed the impact was perfectly in line with the top of the off stump. Out.
Yep, out. And what's fascinating here is the psychology of a batting team finding themselves at 14 runs for 2 wickets so early in the innings.
It's got to be panic-inducing.
Absolutely. When the opposition's opening bowlers give you absolutely nothing to hit, and they're simultaneously threatening your stumps every single ball, the entire tempo of the game is dictated right there.
So Bangladesh is just immediately forced to abandon any aggressive game plan.
They have to. They have to adopt a defensive survival mindset.
It's essentially like a hostile financial audit.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Cap and Ismail are the ruthless auditors. They're giving the batters absolutely no wiggle room. They're squeezing every single asset and just forcing Bangladesh into a corner right out of the gate.
Right.
You look at the ledger and you're massively in the red immediately.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. They are restricting the cash flow of runs to an absolute trickle.
Right. No cash flow at all.
And in limited overs cricket, when your cash flow is restricted like that, panic usually sets in.
People start doing stupid things.
Exactly. Batters try to force shots that just aren't there, leading to a complete structural collapse.
But here's the twist. Bangladesh didn't collapse.
No, they didn't.
And that introduces this really gritty recovery phase. The early vice grip didn't crush them. It forced them to drastically adapt.
Right. They had to pivot.
We go from a potential blowout to this incredible battle of attrition. Sharman Akhtar and Sobhana Mostary find themselves at the crease, and they just dig their heels in.
They really anchored it.
They put together a 56-run partnership off 62 balls to save the innings.
It was a vital partnership. The match reports describe their stand as tenacious, if hesitant.
Hesitant.
That's a generous word. Well, structurally, they successfully stopped the bleeding.
Okay, now I have to push back on this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the reality of these numbers.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sobhana Mostary scores 42 runs off 48 balls. A 56-run partnership taking up 62 balls. In a T20 match, where the entire point of the format is rapid scoring and capitalizing on every delivery,
Right.
is a hesitant partnership that eats up over 10 overs actually a successful strategy? Or are they just surviving for survival's sake at that point, essentially delaying an inevitable loss?
It is a totally valid critique of modern T20 strategy. You hear it a lot. But you have to look at the mechanics of an innings.
Okay.
You have to understand a concept we can call the paradox of the target.
The paradox of the target. I like the sound of that.
Right. So when you are batting first, you don't know what a winning score actually is. Survival in that moment is the foundation of strategy because the alternative is being bowled out for 60.
Which is an automatic loss, basically.
Exactly. By staying at the crease, even slowly, they are ensuring that Bangladesh will actually post a total that the bowlers can try to defend.
Okay, I see.
If you lose your top order quickly, and then your middle order tries to counterattack and fails, the game is over in the first innings.
So by accepting a slow run rate, Bangladesh essentially traded current momentum for future security.
Exactly. What Sharman and Mostary did was buy time.
Right.
They forced South Africa's captain, Laura Wolvevart, to change her bowling attack. By the 7th over, Wolvevart had to bowl out Cap.
Oh, which means introducing secondary bowlers.
Right, which slightly releases that intense pressure valve.
And we definitely saw moments where that tension broke. Like Sobhana hit Nadine de Klerk for a short ball that went for 6 runs over deep square leg.
Yeah, a great shot.
So they weren't entirely dormant. But the contrast is wild when you look at the Bangladesh captain, Nigar Sultana.
Oh, completely different pace.
Yeah, she comes in much later and hits an undefeated 32 off just 20 deliveries. She was the only batter moving at a respectable, aggressive T20 rate in their entire lineup.
And that late acceleration is precisely why you build that slow, hesitant foundation.
Oh, because they didn't collapse early.
Right. Because Akhtar and Mostary didn't collapse. They preserved their specialized hitters. Sultana had the freedom and the safety net to attack at the end.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, Nankalulikam Laba finally broke the partnership in the 15th over.
Yeah, she bowled a beautiful delivery.
She really did. It turned and crashed into Sharman's middle and off stumps. Then Mostary skied a short ball from de Klerk to short third man.
But by then, they had done their job.
Exactly. They dragged the team to 117 for 5.
Which proves that setting any sort of target on an excellent batting pitch completely changes the psychological math for the chasing team.
Which brings us to the run chase.
Here we go.
We're transitioning from Bangladesh setting this very patient slow burn trap to South Africa stepping right into it. The script totally flips.
It's a complete role reversal.
South Africa only needs 118. They have a great batting surface.
Yeah.
But the pressure of the moment distorts reality.
Because suddenly the expectation shifts dramatically. Before the match, 118 sounds incredibly easy. But when you are sitting in the dressing room, knowing your entire tournament survival depends on getting exactly 118.
Oh, man.
Every single run feels unimaginably heavy.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because here's where the dynamic completely fractures.
Yeah, it falls apart fast.
South Africa's star opening batter is Laurel Wolvaardt. Now, she hadn't been her usual free-flowing self earlier in this tournament, but she is the captain.
You expect her to anchor the chase?
Exactly. She walks out. First delivery of the innings from Maruf Akhtar. It's this swerving ball. It curves sharply right into the bat pad gap.
That tiny, incredibly vulnerable space.
Yeah, the space between the wooden bat and the protective leg pad that requires absolute precision from a bowler to exploit. And Wolvaardt's off stump is completely removed.
Just wiped out.
Ball 1. 0 runs for 1 wicket.
It is the absolute worst-case scenario. To lose your captain, your finest batter, before a single run is on the board.
It's unthinkable.
The shockwave that sends through a dressing room is palpable. You can physically feel the anxiety spike.
It's like the lead singer of a band losing their voice right before the first chord of a massive concert.
Yeah.
The backup has to step into the spotlight instantly.
That's a perfect analogy.
It's not just a bad start. It's like removing a major load-bearing wall in a house right as a hurricane makes landfall.
And suddenly all that structural pressure is violently redistributed.
Right. Redistributed to players who were never originally designed to carry that much weight. A fresh number 3, Annerie Dercksen, and Tasman Brits, who, by the way, was actively battling a glute strain out there.
Which just adds to the difficulty.
Seriously. They are suddenly thrust into the spotlight and left to steady the entire ship.
And we can't forget, they are batting against ghosts, too.
Oh, the Pakistan match.
Exactly. The memories of their recent match against Pakistan must have been incredibly vivid and terrifying for this team.
Because in that match, South Africa suffered a catastrophic collapse.
Right. They lost 8 wickets while chasing just 126 runs.
Basically the exact same scenario.
Yep. And the mastermind of that collapse was present on the field today. So they aren't just batting against Bangladesh's bowlers.
They're battling their own recent history.
Exactly, their own history of crumbling under this exact pressure.
Must-win pressure becomes an opponent all its own. But Dercksen really stepped up to carry that redistributed weight beautifully.
She did. She handled it really well.
I mean, her first boundary was a bit lucky, an inside-edged 4, but she fought to find her rhythm.
She had that one defining moment, right?
Well, yeah. Where she went down on one knee and hit Sanjita Akhtar Megla for 6 right over cow corner.
Such a powerful shot.
For those listening, that's that deep, unconventional fielding area on the leg side where batters just try to heave the ball with pure power.
Just absolute muscle.
Yeah, she eventually top-scored with 45 runs. She and Brits put together a stabilizing 57-run partnership for the second wicket.
They managed the immediate crisis well. But T20 cricket, as we know, is entirely about the final sprint. And even though they built that partnership, they weren't scoring quickly enough to eliminate the threat.
The required run rate was still just hovering there like a dark cloud.
Exactly. At the midway point, South Africa was 59 for 3. They required exactly 59 runs in the remaining 10 overs.
And right when they desperately needed to accelerate, the structural cracks appeared.
They always do under that much pressure.
Brits and Dane van Niekerk were removed in consecutive overs. Dercksen batted for 4 more overs, got them within 31 runs of victory, and then she was dismissed, making way for Merzan Cap.
And this is where the match shifts from merely tense to absolutely suffocating.
Oh, completely suffocated, because Bangladesh's defense in these final overs was nothing short of extraordinary.
It really was. After Dercksen was dismissed, Bangladesh did not concede a single boundary for 18 consecutive deliveries.
That's just wild to me. 18 deliveries without a boundary in the death overs.
Think about that. 3 full overs of T20 cricket without allowing a 4 or a 6.
The pressure must have been paralyzing. The match reports emphasize that Bangladesh put on a phenomenal fielding display.
Oh, Flawless.
They were taking every single catch that was made available to them. There was no sloppy fielding, giving away free runs.
Not an inch given.
They made South Africa bleed for every single run. So why exactly does a fielding unit suddenly become impenetrable like that?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's the physical manifestation of psychological pressure.
Right.
It is the difference between a team playing with freedom and a team crippled by fear. Bangladesh had already defended a small total brilliantly.
Right. Their mindset is aggressive.
Exactly. They have nothing to lose. South Africa, conversely, has the immense weight of semifinal elimination on them.
So the fielders can literally sense that.
Yeah, when a fielding team senses that fear, they swarm. They attack the ball faster, their throws are sharper, because they know the batters are second-guessing every single movement.
And that swarming pressure inevitably leads to mechanical breakdowns and just
Chaos.
total chaos. Which brings us to this crazy run-out scenario. Nadine de Klerk finally manages to release the chains a bit. She hits Nahida Akhter through the covers for a 4.
A huge relief.
Right. It brings the required run rate down to less than a run a ball. You breathe a sigh of relief. The math is finally safe.
But the relief was an illusion.
Completely. On the very next ball, de Klerk hits it to point and wants a quick single. Cap hesitates.
Which is fatal.
Right. By the time Cap realizes she has to run, it's too late. Sharman Akhter swoops in, hurls the ball to the keeper's end, and Cap is caught short of her ground.
It's agonizing to watch.
Let's break down the mechanics of a mistake like that.
Well, it is the classic anatomy of a panic-induced error caused by cognitive overload.
Cognitive overload.
Yeah. You just hit a boundary, the pressure's theoretically off, the math says you can relax.
But your brain is still flooded with adrenaline and anxiety.
Exactly. That lingering fear causes a fatal miscommunication. You absolutely do not need to take a risky tight single in that specific moment, but the accumulated tension makes you do irrational things.
Your brain just stops working properly.
The brain stops processing the game rationally and defaults to pure, frantic flight or fight response.
Wow. So we reach the grand finale. South Africa needs 10 runs in 2 overs. De Klerk gets it back on track, crossing the stumps to hit Nahida over square leg for 4.
So close now.
They just need 5 runs off the final over. They don't need to do anything spectacular. They just need singles.
Just tap and run.
But again, the pressure makes you want to finish it instantly to escape the discomfort.
Right. You just want it to be over.
De Klerk tries to finish in style, trying to smash a slower ball from Ritu Moni high into deep mid-wicket. And what happens?
A phenomenal catch.
Sorn Akhter makes a fantastic catch. Another wicket falls.
It is the perfect encapsulation of the entire innings.
It really is.
Even when the finish line is literally inches away, South Africa is making it incredibly difficult for themselves, while Bangladesh's fielding remained flawless, disciplined, and clinical right up to the bitter end.
Ultimately, South Africa limps over the line. They get the remaining runs with 4 wickets in hand, but with only 4 balls remaining in the entire match.
Barely made it.
They chased a measly 118, but they made it look like they were climbing Mount Everest without oxygen.
Yeah, they really did.
So I have to ask, what does this tell us about the human element of the sport? Why did South Africa make such heavy weather of what, on paper, is an incredibly easy chase?
It fundamentally comes down to how human beings process threat. When the stakes are that high, your cognitive load is split. Half your brain is trying to execute the physical task.
Right, watching the ball, moving your feet, swinging the bat.
Exactly. And the other half is obsessively worrying about the catastrophic consequences of failure.
That makes so much sense.
And Bangladesh capitalized on that split focus brilliantly. Their flawless fielding was the ultimate pressure multiplier.
It just kept turning the screws.
Every dot ball they bowled, every quick single they cut off, acted as physical proof to the South African batters that their internal fear was completely justified.
Like, see, you are going to fail.
Right. It's the extremely fine line between surviving a crisis and choking under it.
And South Africa survived, but just barely.
Because their environment was hostile and their own minds were working against them.
It's so relatable, honestly. We aren't all out there under the lights at Lord's, but think about the high-stakes moments in your own life.
Oh, absolutely. It translates perfectly.
Say you are prepping for a massive presentation at work, or you are navigating a make-or-break project. You might have all the structural advantages.
A great product to pitch, a supportive team, plenty of prep time.
Yeah. You have the equivalent of an excellent batting pitch. But Having those advantages doesn't make you immune to the crushing pressure of the actual moment.
Right, because unexpected disasters happen.
They always do.
Yeah.
You might lose your best asset immediately, like South Africa losing Wolvert on ball 1.
Or, your main PowerPoint file corrupting right on the first slide.
Exactly. That's the perfect equivalent. Survival in those moments is rarely about executing your original perfect plan.
No, it's about adapting on the fly.
It's about finding your Annerie Dercksen and Tasman Brits to absorb that redistributed weight, steady the ship, and just painfully grind it out.
Exactly. It rarely looks as pretty or as dominant as the plan you drew up on the whiteboard.
No, it's usually really messy.
But having the resilience to survive a crisis when your systems are failing is a massive skill in itself.
But here is the wildest, most jarring part of this whole story.
Oh, yeah. The aftermath.
South Africa did it. They won the must-win game, they survived the pressure cooker, they fought off their own demons, and they got the points.
But their fate still isn't secure.
Right. Because of the overarching tournament standings, South Africa's exhausting win simply means they now have to go back to the hotel and wait anxiously for the afternoon match between Australia and India.
Which is just agonizing.
If Australia wins, South Africa advances to the semifinals. If India wins, South Africa's eliminated anyway.
It's almost cruel, honestly. They expended all that immense physical and emotional energy, pushed their psychological limits to the absolute brink, overcame a near collapse.
And now they're reduced to being entirely helpless spectators.
Completely helpless.
Which leaves you with something really fascinating to mull over today.
Yeah, it's a profound thought.
Think about what happens to our psychology when we exert absolute maximum effort to survive a crisis. We give everything we have to stay alive in the fight, only to realize that our ultimate success or failure is completely out of our hands.
Just entirely dependent on a battle we aren't even fighting in.
Exactly. How do you handle surrendering control after doing your absolute best? How do you sit in that discomfort?
It's tough. Really tough.
Something to think about. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us today.